The night the Duke arrived, thunder rolled over the hills like a warning, and every candle in the manor seemed to tremble with it. Carriages lined the gravel drive, silk gowns brushed against marble floors, and every heartbeat in the house waited for one moment that would decide two sisters' fates forever. By dawn, one daughter would be chosen, and the other would be quietly erased. No one imagined the Duke's choice would shatter the rules this family had lived by for generations. Before the story unfolds any further, pause for a moment. If you believe kindness still matters in a world obsessed with appearances, if you believe second chances can change lives, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. The elder daughter, Alara, had always been called the pretty one. From childhood, people noticed her first, praised her smile, admired the symmetry of her face, and spoke about her future as if it were already written in gold. The younger sister, Mira, lived in the quiet shadow beside her. Mira was not ugly, but she was invisible. Her features were softer, her posture uncertain, and a faint scar along her cheek from a childhood accident gave people an excuse to look away too quickly. While Alara learned how to charm guests and glide through ballrooms, Mira learned how to disappear into corridors, libraries, and gardens where no one asked her to shine. Their father ruled the household with rigid certainty. He believed the world rewarded beauty, confidence, and obedience, and he shaped his daughters accordingly. Alara was praised, guided, and prepared for advantage. Mira was corrected, criticized, and reminded of her shortcomings with every careless glance. She was told to be grateful for shelter, for food, for a place at the table, but never encouraged to dream beyond it. Over time, Mira learned to measure her worth by silence, believing that if she asked for nothing, she could not be disappointed. The Duke's visit was meant to secure the family's future. He was wealthy, respected, and rumored to be selective to the point of cruelty. When word arrived that he sought a bride, the father saw opportunity rather than uncertainty. Preparations began weeks in advance. Seamstresses tailored gowns, tutors drilled etiquette, and mirrors were placed everywhere Alara might pass, so she could admire the investment made in her. Mira was given small tasks to help in the background, adjusting flowers, carrying fabric, and staying out of sight. No one expected the Duke to notice her, and no one wanted him to. On the evening of the gathering, Alara descended the staircase in a gown designed to dazzle. Every step echoed with approval. Mira watched from the side, wearing a simple dress chosen more for modesty than beauty. She felt like part of the furniture, useful only if ignored. As the Duke entered the room, conversation softened, and eyes followed him with calculated admiration. He carried himself with calm authority, not loud or boastful, but observant in a way that unsettled people who relied on charm alone. The father wasted no time guiding the Duke's attention. He praised Alara's accomplishments, her grace, her beauty, her readiness to become a duchess. He spoke as though Mira were not standing in the same room, as though one daughter were a masterpiece and the other a draft that never should have been framed. The message was clear: take the pretty one, take the obvious choice, take what reflects well on everyone involved. But the Duke did not rush. He watched the room with patience, noticing things others missed. He saw how Alara smiled on command, how her laughter arrived half a second too late, how her eyes flicked toward her father before every response. He also noticed Mira standing near a window, her hands folded, her gaze focused not on him but on the storm outside. There was something steady in her stillness, something unpracticed and real. As the evening unfolded, the Duke moved through conversations, listening more than speaking. He observed how servants were treated, how compliments were accepted, how silence was filled or respected. Each detail added weight to his thoughts. When he finally approached Mira, the room seemed to hold its breath, though she herself did not notice at first. She was too accustomed to being overlooked to recognize attention when it arrived. Mira struggled under his gaze, not because it was unkind, but because it was sincere. She felt exposed in a way she had never prepared for. Years of being told she was less had trained her to expect dismissal, not curiosity. Yet the Duke's attention did not feel like judgment. It felt like interest, and that unsettled her more than rejection ever had. Her father noticed the shift and quickly intervened, redirecting the Duke toward Alara with practiced ease. He laughed, gestured, and reminded him where true value lay. The words were polished, but the intent was sharp. Mira retreated again, her chest tight with a familiar ache. Hope, she knew, was dangerous. The choice came later that night, not announced with ceremony, but delivered with calm finality. When the Duke stated his decision, the room froze. He had chosen Mira. Not the polished daughter, not the admired one, but the sister everyone had quietly dismissed. The father's face tightened, disbelief and anger colliding behind his smile. Alara stood stunned, her certainty crumbling in an instant. Mira felt the world tilt beneath her feet, as if reality itself had made a mistake. The days that followed were heavy with tension. Whispers filled hallways. Servants speculated. Relatives questioned the Duke's judgment. The father grew cold toward Mira, treating her choice as an insult rather than an honor. He reminded her daily of her inadequacy, warning her not to embarrass the family. Mira absorbed every word, terrified that one misstep would confirm everyone's doubts. Life at the Duke's estate was nothing like she imagined. It was vast, elegant, and intimidating. Mira struggled with new expectations, unfamiliar routines, and the constant fear of being exposed as unworthy. She stumbled through lessons, made mistakes in public, and retreated into herself whenever criticism surfaced. The old belief followed her like a shadow: she had been chosen by accident, and accidents were always corrected. Yet slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. The Duke did not demand perfection. He valued honesty over performance, effort over image. When Mira failed, she was corrected without cruelty. When she succeeded, even in small ways, it was acknowledged without exaggeration. For the first time in her life, she was allowed to grow without being compared to someone else. Mira began to discover parts of herself she had never been encouraged to explore. She found confidence in managing estate matters, empathy in listening to others, and strength in resilience shaped by years of quiet endurance. The scar on her cheek no longer felt like a flaw but a reminder of survival. People around her responded to her sincerity, her steadiness, her genuine care. Slowly, respect replaced curiosity, and admiration followed. Back at her childhood home, the absence she left behind was more noticeable than anyone expected. Alara struggled under the weight of lost opportunity and unexamined identity. The father faced murmurs about his misjudgment, forced to confront the limits of his values. The household learned, too late, that worth could not be measured by appearance alone. As time passed, Mira stood taller. Not because she had become someone else, but because she had finally been allowed to become herself. The Duke's choice was no longer questioned, only understood. Those who once doubted her now looked to her for guidance, for warmth, for quiet leadership. She carried her past with her, not as shame, but as proof of how far she had come. If this story is touching something deep inside you, please pause here and leave a comment with a heart or a few words about what it made you feel. Your comment helps this story reach others who may need it. In the end, Mira returned to her childhood home not as the rejected sister, but as a woman who knew her worth. She did not seek apology or validation. Her presence alone spoke of transformation. She had learned that being chosen was not about beauty or approval, but about being seen for who you truly are. And in that recognition, she found a strength no rejection could ever take away. If this story moved your heart, made you think differently about worth, beauty, or second chances, please like the video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement keeps these stories alive and helps spread hope where it's needed most.